Okay, you guys, good evening. This is Cleta Colson-Eyre. It is 2/21/21. We'll never have that one again, right? And so I'm super excited to be on here tonight. And I was going to look something with okay, live chat is on. Someone told me they couldn't chat last week or something. But anyway, on the YouTube. So good to have you guys. I know you're like, where is Boss Babe Warrior Girl number 7? So we ended that if you missed it last week. The good thing is they are all on YouTube. They're on my YouTube channel. You can just look them up and they're all there. So, you know, I think it was a lot of information. I want to just publicly thank Karen Rydell again for doing that outline. It was so nice to have that. And I'm just looking forward to putting all that into practice. So today, if you think about it, we have got about less than a month from STAR. So there's just a couple things, just Mary Kay announcements, okay, that you need to be thinking about. Is the STAR Consultant Quarter ends March 15th. So you guys want to be a STAR. For one thing, is if you were a STAR the first 2 quarters, you're on target for 4-quarter STAR. And there's that beautiful, I think it's Ted Baker bags that we're going to get this year. And so that is going to be really nice. So don't miss it. The other thing is, if you weren't a STAR the first 2 quarters, that's okay. It's a new year. How about being a STAR every single quarter this year, right? And so it's always a good time to be a STAR consultant. The second thing is, I want y'all to really think about if you're a consultant and you're not in your red jacket. Because y'all, 3 recruits, Glory Mayfield Banks is funny. I had a cassette tape from her from way back in the 90s. And she was doing this training on recruiting. And she said, if Christopher Columbus can discover America, you can find 3 people that want to sell Mary Kay. This is not like 3 people out of the millions of people, right, in the United States. Surely 3 people might want to make some extra money. And it's $30 to get started. So you guys, if we're not recruiting, there's really only one reason. And it's just because we're not asking enough people. And so I was just thinking about that today. I thought, do I want to get on here and preach about people getting in their red jacket? Do I want to get on here and say, you know what, because we have been selling. We've been doing Facebook parties and we've been doing all these other things. And I think the sales have been pretty good. I hope so for you guys. If not, same thing. Probably you just haven't been doing new faces and figured out a way that you're going to do that. And, there was a girl that is a friend of mine. Her name is Jen Bessenker. And I think I messed up her last name. But anyway, I just call her Jen. She's a top director friend of mine. And she taught a class at Ignite at the first of the year, but also, again, at Feel the Power this weekend. And you guys, she's been doing Facebook parties. She has done about 80 since she did 80, I think, from August to December. And in that time, she has sold almost $80,000. Like her parties are averaging about $1,000. She has 25 qualified already, probably more than that now. And her and her unit are on target for $1 million. She went from 60 customers to 450, I think is what she said. So don't quote me on all the numbers, but they're all pretty close there. And so she just decided to start with those 60 customers she had and say, I'm going to go with them and I'm just going to see if anybody will book an online Facebook party. And so out of 60, 2 people said yes. 2. But that's okay. That's how she started. She said, this is a sales director that's been on many trips. Okay. And she said, I just wasn't that great at it at first, but I learned. And she said, I send them samples and then I just do it like, we can do Zoom parties. You can do Facebook parties, whichever one you want. She has mastered the Facebook parties. And y'all, she herself has sold $80,000. Like, that's a lot of product in a few months. And, it is amazing what she has done. And I listened to it again. And I thought, you know what, it's just a matter of making up your mind you're going to do it. And so if you haven't embraced it, it's just a matter of really, you just haven't asked enough people to get it going. So let me just say that. So we all can be a STAR between now and March 15th. And you all can be in your red jacket by the end of the month. You guys, I'm not kidding. I know you're like, oh, it's only 7 days. It don't matter. People get recruits all the time. You could get a recruit tonight after the call. Call a few people up, say, hey, don't you need some extra money? $30, we'll get you in. Let's get you going. Let's do a party for you on Tuesday and get your girlfriends on there, and you'll have enough to get her active, probably qualified. I mean, it's just that easy. So I just wanted to have that at the very beginning to say, let's don't complicate things. So what I wanted to talk to you guys about though tonight is I have, and some of you, if you have, tell me in the chat. This is a book. It's called The Energy Bus, and it's by Jon Gordon. He was the one that did that other book that I did that says winning is first in the locker room, or success is first in the locker room. Well, anyway, we were going to do this book study on this, and we ended up not doing it with some other directors. And so I thought, all right, I'm gonna start reading it. Well, you guys, I picked up the book and I literally read the whole thing at one time. Like, I started and I finished the whole entire book. I mean, in one afternoon, because it's a story. And, for me, stories are easy to read. That's why I don't read a lot of stories, because I am one that will stay up if it's till 4 o'clock in the morning, because I need to know what happened so I can get some sleep, right? So this book, it is about this guy, and it's based on, part of it is based on an experience, a little true story he had, but then he made it into, a better story. But it starts out with this guy, and he is getting ready to go to work, and he has a flat tire. And so he comes back in, and he has this big meeting at work, and he comes back in and tells his wife, can you take me to work? And she's like, no. She's like, look, I got 3 kids. I get to school. I've got things to do afterwards. I got to go to the dentist. I got to go back for practice. And she named all the things she had to do. She goes, I'm sorry, I can't take you to work. She said, why don't you get a ride from so-and-so, the neighbor was going that way into downtown. He goes, I've already asked. He's already left. He goes, I got a big meeting, and I'm not going to have a job if I miss that meeting. She goes, well, I'm just really sorry, but what I have to do today is really important too. And of course, he yells at the kids. The dog's jumping on him. He's like, why don't we have this mud anyway? And then the kids start crying, and they're like, Daddy doesn't like, whatever the dog's name is. And he's just in a bad way. So he just leaves, and she goes, why don't you just take the bus? He goes, the bus? Like, I am a business. I'm going to go take a bus to work. She's like, well, I don't know what you're going to do. So he decided he would truck to the bus. It was a 1-mile walk. So he huffed and puffed all the way to the bus. And he gets there, and he gets on the bus, and there's this lady, and she's got this big smile on her face, and she's like, well, hey, what brings you to this bus? And he's like rolling his eyes, thinking, I can't even believe why we have somebody Miss Happy as the driver, And she just kept staring at him. She kept smiling, and her name ended up being Joy. Okay. And so she called it the Joy Bus. Right. And so anyway, she starts talking to him, and she made an impression on him, and he ends up getting out, and he goes to work. And she basically said, you can look at everything as a gift, or as a, a gift, or as a, something bad. It's up to you, what you want to make it. Well, anyway, he ends up thinking about what she said, and he goes back and gets back on the bus. And so what he did, this goes over like a few weeks. And so every week or so, every few days, she would give him, she called it the rules for the best ride of your life. And she goes, people love my bus because this is the energy bus. We give energy here, and you got the same drivers, the same passengers all the time. So she gave these rules. So I'm going to go over with you, and I think it does apply to our Mary Kay business, because we know that if you don't have any kind, if you've got negative vibes going out, like you're always negative, people don't want to be around you. You can't book, you can't sell, and you sure enough can't recruit, right? So I think all of this will apply to us, and I just loved it. I would just recommend, getting the book. So I'm going to tell you the 10 rules for the ride of your life. So number 1, and then there's a few things I'm going to read in it. Number 1, she said, rule number 1 is you are the driver of your bus. You're the driver of your bus. And when she said that, she told him to read this children's book. And he's like, for the love, like he really resisted everything she said, but he said, I'm going to read it anyway for whatever reason. So he went home, and the little children's book says, this is your energy bus. You're the driver. Did you know you can take your bus anywhere you want to go? Say yes 3 times with me. Yes, yes, yes. You can take it to the movies, the beach, or to the North Pole. Just say where you want to go and believe that it will be so, because every journey and every ride begins with a desire to go somewhere and to do something. And if you have a desire, then you also have the power to make it happen. So she challenged him to go home and write down 3 things. And it had 3 sections for him to write down. And number one was my vision for my life, including my health, is, and he had to write it out. My vision for my life, including my health, is. And then number 2, my vision for my work, career, job, and team is. What's your vision for your work and your career? And then number 3 is my vision for my relationship and family is. ... Okay. And so he thought about that, and he thought, all right, maybe I'm going to write that, and kind of, look over that. All right. So then the next day or whenever he got back on the bus again, she gave him rule number 2. And rule number 2 is desire, vision, and focus. Move your bus in the right direction. And you guys know that in Mary Kay, if you have a focus and a desire and a vision of where you want to go, then your actions are going to go toward that. If you don't have it, or maybe what you have is a negative, then your actions are also going to go toward that. And it is so true, because all of you on here, there's been times that you have achieved something. And if you look back on what you've achieved, and even if you're brand new, maybe it's just that you signed your agreement and, electronically, and you said, I'm going to start something new. That is something that's forward action, right? But all of you, there's been a time where you have sold something. Maybe you did a successful party. Maybe you talked to someone about selling Mary Kay and then they signed up. A lot of you have won cars. Many of you are sales directors watching. Think of what you've done. And when you were on a roll going for that, man, you had a desire, like let's say to become a sales director. You had the vision. You could see yourself in that director's suit. You could see yourself walking on stage with your senior director debuting you on stage. You could see yourself holding your own sales meetings. Okay. And then of course you had focus, like you had a deadline of when you're going to do it. And all of that moved you in the right direction on your bus that you're driving. Makes sense, doesn't it? Okay. Number 3 is fuel your ride with positive energy. Fuel your ride with positive energy. And I want to read you a little bit of something in that. This says, your positive energy and vision must be greater than anyone's and everyone's negativity. Your certainty must be greater than anyone and everyone's doubt. And she was talking to him because he was actually a leader of this group, and this company sold light bulbs. And they had this big presentation to make, and he already knew his job was on the chopping block, that he used to be really good, and he just was flat. And they basically said, this is do or die. Like, you're going to, they had these new light bulbs they were doing. And if he did a good presentation with his team, then fine, but they weren't really counting on it. They already were talking about who was going to replace him. Okay. And so his team also was very negative as well, because he was negative and he put off bad vibes with the whole team, and no one got anything done. Everybody was complaining and things like this. And so on this rule, she taught him about fueling that ride with positive energy. So he had to go in and be positive instead of negative when he got into the space of his team. And it was very interesting when he did that, because they weren't used to him being a positive person. They're used to him being a negative person, a Debbie Downer, as we would like to say, right? So we want to think about that. Okay, so number 4 is, I love this one, invite people on your bus and share your vision for the road ahead. So it's so much more fun in Mary Kay to work your business with a team of girlfriends. And that's what they are. They end up becoming your girlfriends, your friends that sign up with you, and you're going to do life with them. At first, when you first sign up to sell Mary Kay, and they say, you want to get people that you want to do life with, you're like, that is so weird. But think about it, you guys. I have been doing life with my consultants that are on my team for 30-something years. 30-something years. My directors, some of us have been together for 30-something years. And even though we were friends before, by doing Mary Kay together, we are doing life together, right? Because we're involved in the same things. We go on trips together. We end up rooming together. We have dinners together. Our husbands get to know each other. So when you think about it, it's way more fun to have a team right? And do things together with your team and with your unit members, right? And then later on with your offspring directors, and then later on with your, if you're a national sales director, with all your directors in your national area, right? So life is more fun with people, right? We've learned that this last year. That's why so many people going crazy, because they're like, only people I see, these people in this live with me, and I'm about tired of looking at them. No. We love our husband and our kids, right? But we do need our friends, and we need our other people, in there with us, right? And so anyway, I was looking over YouTube. It looks like it's frozen, so we'll see how that works. So anyway, you want to invite people to get on there with you, and you want to share your vision for where you're going with them. Like, come on, this is what we're doing. So like, let's say you're a Red Jacket and you're like, look, our team, we're going to keep going and growing, and we're going to win the consultant car, the first car, the Malibu. With this team, we are going to be a grand achiever team. We're going to do it, or maybe you want to be an elite team leader. That could be your team's vision. And what is your team? That our team is going to have bigger production and more sales than any other team in our unit. I mean, you could do that. Sales directors, it's easy for us to think about our vision. Our vision, we're going to tell it to our unit members. What's your vision for your unit and how you want to grow and what you want to end the year with? Because honestly, they do. As a $1 million director, you can bring your team on stage, but otherwise, the director has to represent you on stage, but it is you. I mean, like, it's just kind of like if a coach gets an award, all the players know that they're on that team and they're so proud of the coach, right? Because they all did it together. And every director that gets an award, we know it's our unit. We know we're not up there thinking we did it all, because we can't do it all. So it's pretty cool to have passengers on your bus and you've told them your vision. And then when you achieve it, it's so much more exciting. So number 5, don't waste your energy on those who don't get on your bus. So you know what? He asked this guy to go to work, or she did, to go to work and get their team together and share the vision. And he actually had this things where they did tickets. And this is where our team is going. Do you want to get on the bus? If you do, and he actually had tickets that he printed up and gave them these tickets. In fact, you can go to, I think it's theenergybus.com, and you can even print out tickets. Like they have this, you can look it up on there. But anyway, he gave them actual tickets. And then some of it, he said, now you can think about it. Actually, he said, I have a ticket for you if you want to get on our bus. This is where we're going. This is what our team is going to do. And tomorrow you can let me know if you want to get on my bus. And so the next day, he had several that did, but 4, 2 at a time, 2 came in and said, I don't want to get on your bus. I don't want your ticket. I don't know why you think that now everybody, you haven't even recognized us all year long. You don't even pay attention to anything I say. So no, I'm not getting on your bus. And then 2 other came in, said the same thing. 2 of them that said no, he was real surprised because he really liked them and he thought that they liked him, but they were like, mm-mm. And then the other 2 were always negative anyway. So it really hurt his feelings. So this Joy, he told her about it, and she said, listen, what did they say? And he said, well, one of them said that I never really, they came to talk to me and I didn't give them the time of day. And he goes, well, is that true? He goes, it is true. It is true what she said. And and so he talked to her about that, and then the other ones, she said, well, they're negative anyway. She says, you don't want them on your bus. That's okay. So he fired them. He actually let them go. And he said it was really hard, but those 2 people brought negativity every single day. They were like the troublemakers. And so I want to say this in Mary Kay. Sometimes you may have someone on your team that needs to go. And if they need to go, you're going to let them go, because they could be somebody that's just a troublemaker. Now, some will turn around. And in the story, one of the gals came back and he called her in and said, listen, I just want to apologize because you're right. And I should have paid attention to this. And I don't know if I can promise you a raise, but I can do this and this and this. And she got back on the team, But some people that you talk to about selling Mary Kay, they're going to say no. They're going to say, no. Like, and they even have a bad attitude. No, not like, oh, well, I wish I could, but not now. A bad attitude. No. Why do you want to have to deal with that for 35 years? You don't. So if they're not meant to be on your bus, that's fine. They can go get a ticket on a negative Nancy's bus. Excuse me if any of y'all's name's Nancy. I would hate that I'm calling you negative Nancy. So let's just say negative N. Anyway, okay. So the number, so don't waste energy on those who don't get on your bus. All right. That was number 5. Number 6, and we did talk about this a little bit. Post a sign that says no energy vampires allowed on your bus. And so she talked about how you can't bless people if you're complaining. And she talked about that complainers, and you can't be creative if you're complaining. So if you're complaining about something, your brain can't even think of new ways to do things because it's too busy making true what you're saying. That it's too hot, I can't do it, it's too hard, everybody says no, all that kind of stuff. It's making everything you say, let's just say you're writing your own future, you're making it come true. So instead, you're not going to be a complainer. You're going to say no energy vampires allowed. No one that is going to zap energy can come in. And so he told them about this, no complaining. And some of them buffed it because he was a complainer himself, but he stopped, and they could really tell that he meant it. And so that's something to think about. If you are an energy vampire, maybe you're the one that somebody kick off their bus. Sometimes you're like, I hope not, but you know what? It's something to look at. And the other thing is just to kind of, on your team, if you have someone that's always complaining, maybe talk about it. Say, hey, you know what? And I think Jana posted it this week and said, don't complain unless you have a solution to the problem that you're complaining about. If you come in and say, hey, it's too hot in here, why don't we get a different ceiling fan and we'll put this, air conditioner right here so that it will help you, or whatever. And so you can come up with a solution instead of just being the complainer. I thought that was really good. Okay, number 7 is enthusiasm attracts more passengers and energizes them during the ride. Enthusiasm attracts more passengers and energizes them during the ride. And Mary Kay was really big on being enthusiastic. She used to say, act enthusiastic and you'll feel enthusiastic. She said that all the time. And so she would say, if you don't feel enthusiastic, that's okay. Just act like you do. And once you keep acting that way, you end up starting to feel enthusiastic. And it is the truth. And so if she said, just fake it, just act like you're excited. And then what happens is when you start acting crazy like that, and you don't have to be bouncing off the walls, but you can't be complaining when you're being excited, right? I just can't do it. I'm excited, So if you're not excited, just go in and go, y'all, I'm so excited. And your attitude starts to change as you start to feel better, right? Okay. So think about that during your meetings, during your during your Facebook Live parties, during your Zoom parties. Are you like the most boring person on the planet while you're doing your Mary Kay presentations? You guys, we gotta loosen up. So instead of going, I really love this hand cream, it really makes my hands soft, you should get some hand cream. It's $12. I love it because it's soft when I put it on my hands. I'm really wanting to buy that hand cream, right? No, you're gonna go, and Sayla, we always laugh because we do say the same thing. This is the Bob.com. Like, now this hand cream, and I'm not lying, I really do love this hand cream. And this was one that had the blissful pomegranate. We don't have it anymore, but I like all the fragrances, but I really like this one, probably because it's in a pink thing. But every single morning after I do my makeup, of course, I wash my hands because I do right here. I put my foundation on the back of my hand and use it as a palette. So I have to wash my hands, and I have my satin hands scrub from the satin hand set in there, and then I have to have my hand cream. And if I don't, I almost am like, where is my hand cream? My hands feel dry. All I have to do is put some on this. I never have dry hands throughout the whole entire day. But if I don't have this and I have to use some like hotel lotion, like if I'm traveling, it's the worst. So I really cannot go without my hand cream. I have to have it. I have one in here. I have one in every sink of the house. And I have one in the bathroom, but I really don't apply it, but just one time a day because it's that good. Y'all want to buy some hand cream? Okay, so that's enthusiasm selling some hand cream, okay? And it attracts more people. Okay, Number 8 is you have to love your passengers. You have to love your passengers. As she mentioned, 5 ways that you love your passengers. So these would be people that are on your team. Now, this can also be your customers. Okay. If you're a director, it can be your consultants. If you're a national, it could be your offspring sales directors. Okay. So it says 5 ways to love your passengers. Number 1 is make time for them. Everybody wants to feel like that their time is valuable to you. It says when you love someone or something, you spend time with them. You nurture your relationship with them. You can't nurture business relationships sitting on your desk, just as you can't spend quality time with your spouse if you're watching TV all the time. So the key is come out of your office, get to know your team, spend the time with them, meet with them individually, get to know them as people, not numbers, just as you would tend a garden. You need to cultivate your team with love. And while you're with them, it's important to be present with them. Be engaged in the present moment. Don't be thinking about 10 other things that you've got to do or the other 10 people you got to meet with. That you got to meet with later. Really be with that person. Focus your energy on them and they will feel the difference. Mary Kay taught this a lot. And she taught it in a way. If you read her autobiography, you know that she was in another company and she went up and she waited 3 hours in line to talk to the president of the company. Waited. And when she got up there, she said she was up there and he was up there and he looked at her for a minute and then he went like this to see how many people were behind her. And he's like, okay, no. And, for just a second, she said, I felt unimportant. She goes, I had waited 3 hours just like everybody else had, and I wanted my time. And she says, and I thought right then and there, if I'm ever the person that someone is standing in line to talk to, I will give them my undivided attention. And just recently, Anasha was talking about how she was with Mary Kay and they were at an event and that she was talking to Mary Kay, and then someone came up and was trying to interrupt. So she said Mary Kay put her hand on her shoulder that so let's say Mary Kay was talking to me. She put her hand on the shoulder and she said, just to show me, I'm coming right back to you. And she talked to whatever the question was or whatever, and then she went right back to show her, you are important to me and I have to answer this, but don't go anywhere because I'm not done. You still got me. And it meant a lot to her, so much that she repeated the story and told this about her. And so I thought that was really a good way. People, when they talk to you, they do want to know you're really talking to them. And y'all, let me just say, it's hard when you're in your office and you're talking to someone on the telephone. You really need to turn away from your devices, your computer, turn away, look out the window. With your phone, put it on speaker and then put it on the desk and don't sit there and scroll while you're talking to someone or text. Because did you know that most of the time they can hear tick, 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 tick. They hear your texting while you're talking to them. And you might as well just, and so it's just something to think about when you're talking to someone, to make sure you're listening, because sometimes they're talking and you're not listening. And then later they are like, I told you, like, you did not tell me that. They're like, yes, I did. And they did, but you were, checking your email while you're talking to them. Right. So it's definitely something to think about. The number 2 way is to love your passengers first is make time for them. And 2 is to listen to them. And that kind of goes along with what we just talked about, and really listen to what they say, listen with the heart, caring about what they have to say. It says empathy is the key. When people feel seen and heard, there's a moistening in the eyes. And that's something. And that's the truth. It says researchers estimate in more than 95% of daily interactions, there is no moistening of the eyes. So isn't that interesting? So for example, when you ask someone how they're doing, an easy way to show you're listening is to actually wait for the answer and make eye contact. I said, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? You doing all right? You doing all right? All right, what we're going to eat? You really don't want to know how they're doing, right? So I thought that was really good. Number 3 is recognize them. Now, I will say, Mary Kay, this book it's not just Mary Kay people, right? It's for anybody. We got it going on in the recognition department. Don't y'all agree? I mean, like Mary Kay taught us how to recognize people as sales directors, and even as red jackets, you should know how to, or senior consultants, how to recognize your team. But if you're not doing that, and it's very fulfilling to recognize other people, because you can just see it changes them. And everybody needs a little recognition sometime. And in the book, he says, we don't mean trophies or some awards dinner. We want you to make it real and personal. Honor them for who they are and what they do. Recognize them as a person as much as a business professional. One leader we know sends each employee a personal birthday card with a handwritten note, not some electronic fake signature, but a real note. And Mary Kay used to do that. She would tell us she took notes home and she signed them all herself and wrote some stuff on it. And she did. And if you were in Mary Kay while she was alive, you got one of those notes and you treasure them because you really know she really signed them. And so anyway, I thought that was really good. Number 4 is to serve them. To serve them. So as a great leader once said, the higher you get in an organization, the more it is your duty to serve the people. To serve the people below you rather than having the people serve you. The key to serve is their growth, their future, their career, and their spirit so they enjoy work, life, and being on your bus. The more you serve their growth, the more they will help you grow. So when you think about that, Mary Kay also taught us this, to be a servant leader. And it shows pretty quick if you're not a servant leader, because people will follow you for a little while, but at some point they're going to go, she's pretty much just about herself. And that just don't fly. I mean, it may take a couple of years to figure that out, but once you find that out about a leader, they don't have the respect anymore. And the ones that we love the most in Mary Kay are the ones that have given the most and that have served the most, and probably just in your life in general. So be that person. Number 5 is bring out the best in them. Bring out the best in them. It says we saved this one for last because it's the most important. When you love someone, you want the best for them. You want them to be successful and happy. You want to bring out the best in them. Thus, the best way any leader can demonstrate their love for their team is to help each person discover their strengths and provide opportunity for that person to utilize them. When you create a system that provides a way for your people to shine, not only bring out the best in them, but the rest of the team and the company as well. If you really want to love your team, help them do what is best. Is that simple. Help them do what they do best. Is that simple. So that's one thing that you could do. And I'm speaking to consultants and directors. So consultants, let's say you have a team of a couple of people. What is something that someone on your team is really good at? Y'all could do something together and let her shine in that spot. Maybe do a group, like, we're talking about these virtual parties. Let someone else do some of that and let her shine, and help her. And everybody has different gifts. And so you want to find out what your gifts are of your teammates, and then elevate that and let them be the best they can, and bring it out. There's some people that bring out the best in you. You probably can name them. Who brings out the best in you? And it's the people that encourage you to say, listen, you got this. You're so good at this. You can do it, and it makes people want to get on your bus, right? Okay. So that was number 8. And so number 9 is drive with purpose. Drive with purpose. And on that one, she said, purpose is the ultimate fuel for our journey through life. When we drive with purpose, we don't get tired or bored, and our engines don't burn out. And so you want to think about that as you're working your business, about your purpose in your Mary Kay business and in your life. What is your main purpose? Because why would someone like me stay in Mary Kay for over 35 years? Do y'all know that that's not normal? Most people switch jobs sometime in their life after college, right? Most people don't get that same job at 23 and then still doing it at 58. Like at some point they get burned out, right? But you'll see that in Mary Kay a lot is people stay in for the long haul because we love what we do. There's always satisfaction in helping others. And, if one of your goals is to empower women and to bring out their best and also share the Lord with them, you have a reason and you don't get burned out. It's when you go to work and you feel like you're not making a difference with anybody, not even yourself. That's when burnout starts. Would y'all agree with that? So, okay. And then number 10 is have fun and enjoy the ride. Have fun. and enjoy the ride. If you're not having fun with your Mary Kay business, then honestly, you're doing something wrong. And I'm not saying that to be an energy vampire, but what is it? I mean, you signed up because something attracted you about Mary Kay. And I would not think that you would have signed up unless you thought, number one, you could make money, and number two, you could have some fun too. I know for me, I remember going to the meeting, and I thought, this is a lot of fun. And even the parties, I thought, this is a lot of fun. I enjoyed the parties, you know? And so if you don't enjoy the party, maybe figure out why and what you could do to make them more fun. Because we like to do fun things, don't we? I mean, like, that's why, like, if you like to go to the beach, you want to go a lot because you have fun at the beach, right? So if there's some reason you're not doing Mary Kay parties, maybe it's because they're not fun to you. And if they're not fun, why aren't they fun? And see if you can figure that out and make them more fun. And it may be that you just need to do little games at your parties. But, you know, we used to always do games. We used to do this one called the purse game. And we would have everybody pull their purse out. And we would do the Mrs. Cab, you know, MRSCAB. And we go, okay, find something that starts with an M in your purse. And everybody's put up money. All right, money. Well, guess what? That's one of the reasons why people love to sell Mary Kay, is to make extra money. And, you know, and then we let them pull something else out. And we just do fun little games like that all the time to make it more fun at the party. So, you guys, there's a lot of things like that you could do. And okay, let me say, like your Facebook group, if you have no interaction lately, I have amped it up on my Facebook group. I thought, all right, I got all these people on here. Why are they here? Why do I have this group? And what is the purpose of this group? So number one, I want the group to be fun. And number two, I would like it to generate new business because I am in business, right? And I also want to have a connection with my customers more than just, you know, when they drop off, you know, they come pick up a lipstick or whatever. And so lately, you know, I have been doing some of the stuff with Post My Party and some other things. And there's always they call them engagement posts. And it's where you post something where they have to answer the question. And some of them I saw last week that we had the one that had a bunch of mascaras on it in a flower pot. You know, it had National Lash Day. And I said, how many mascaras are in this flower pot? And the answer was 65. Okay. And so all these people hit it. And I'm like, no, not there. You know, and I'm like, I think it's funny that someone I didn't even offer them a prize. It was just a game. And they all got on there, like 40 comments and just guessing how many mascaras in there. But guess what? They, you know, like at the end, I told them who won. And what did I give? I mean, I didn't even say that I was going to do anything, but I felt like I should do something. So I said, okay, you know, Stacy Prescott won. Next, I said, Stacy, on your next order, you get a free mascara. Just remind me. That's it. On your next order, you get a free mascara. Oh, and I said, everybody who made a comment can get 20% off a mascara today, you know? And then there was one about the lipsticks and how many lipsticks was in whatever it was. I think it was a heart or something. And all these people, and I mean, it was like 40 something comments and it's just blowing me away. Right. It's this one girl, I gave her a free lipstick, and everybody else, I said, it's a BOGO, buy one, get one half price. You know, but you don't even have to do that. I mean, it's just more for fun. But what happens is people get to go onto your page and go, what was she doing today? You know? And so one of the things on the Field of Power, they had a social media class. And this one gal had I don't even know, I want to say 2,000 customers on her Facebook group page. And she just uses it more like a blog. And she said she doesn't call it you know, Mary Kay by Cleta or Cleta's VIP customers or whatever. She has it like some other kind of name. And I don't even know she didn't tell us what it was, but something that was, she said, it's about me. She goes, my goal is to have every one of these women fall in love with me and that I'm their best friend. Because guess what? They'll want to purchase from me and they'll want to be on my team at some point, maybe too. And she said, so she goes on there, she talks about all kind of things. She talks about life, she talks about fashion, she talks about what she's wearing, her and her husband, what they're doing. And then, you know, she also posts stuff about Mary Kay. So, but it is a private group and it's just her customers, not other consultants and not other consultants' customers. So she has them answer a question when they join the group. They have to say, are you a Mary Kay beauty consultant? And if they say yes, she doesn't let them in. And number two is, have you ever used Mary Kay? Do you have a consultant? Who is your consultant? And if they have one, she don't let them in because she's not trying to get my customers to go and be her best friend and then fall in love with her and then not want to buy from me because they love her. So, you know, she's doing it the right way. But she does she has sold a truckload on there. This one gal, she joined Mary Kay, and 8 months later, she is a Mary Kay Cadillac Plus director with an offspring. That's all during the pandemic, you guys, all through Facebook. So there's lots of ways to do this. So I just, I know I'm all over the place with some of this, but, I want us to have fun in Mary Kay. I want us to have a successful business. I want people to love you and want to buy from you. And eventually they would love to work with you, And so we just got to look at everything you're doing and go, what could I do to improve the things I'm already doing to make them a little bit better? My Facebook group, I actually started in 2011. Guys, people didn't do anything with groups in 2011. So it sat there dead as a wedge for years. And then when everybody's doing, I'm like, well, maybe let me pull up that group. Well, the truth is the group was dead for so long. I think people buried it. They went to the funeral and they never came back. And so, you know what? I had to raise the dead of that group. And of course, I have new people in there, but I had to do some things to make sure people knew that the group was even they're because y'all are in a bunch of groups. If you look on Facebook, how many groups are you in? I guarantee you all you're in 30, 40 groups. And some of them you never see one single thing about it because you don't visit that group anymore, right? You might as well take yourself off the group. So you need to tag some people in your group. Like every now and then, just take and start tagging every single one of them so that they will look at your group. Maybe have an event in that group. And when you have an event, you can actually send every single one of a separate email and invite them to the group. Have something in there. And you can have a new event in your group page, but then you actually do the video, not in the event group, but on the main page. But it gets people to know that there's something going on. So I know some of this may be foreign language to some of you, but y'all can check it out. So anyway, I do want to I think Loree asked again about this bus. So it's called, this book, The Energy Bus by Jon Gordon. So good. 10 rules to fuel your life, work, team, and positive energy. Okay, so that's a lot about the energy bus. So directors, I'd love to hear anything that you have to share. I'm going to read the chat while you guys fill it in. So Jana, get on here, girl.
All right. Hey, you guys. Oh, Cleta, everything was so good. And I just, I agree so much with the enthusiasm part and the energy. I was just thinking recently, what happened? I'm flat as flat can be. And so, and honestly, something that has just come to my mind a lot today is that's something in our Bible study that is just are you doing something big enough that God's going to get the credit for when you do it? And so be enthusiastic, be positive. And I love what you said, your certainty must be bigger than anyone's doubt. That's right. That is for sure. And then also you must have more positivity than everyone else's negativity. And so it's so important, you guys. There are going to be negative people in your life. You cannot control them. You can pray for them, but you cannot control them. But maybe, just maybe, if you are super positive around them and you love them anyway, maybe they will notice something is different and it's contagious because, negativity is contagious. So is positivity. So, love on people. And you know what? If they don't like your positivity, maybe they'll find their way out of your space. So
that's right. And Jana, someone just said to me, it was a top director, and she boxed me. She said, "Hey, I'm trying to do." She goes, "I'm just boring." She goes, "I'm boring. I'm flat, just like you said, and I think my unit's flat, and we got to do something to pump up the volume and get some people back excited." And so, y'all, sometimes you just need to re-energize and just say, every single thing that you're doing, how could you make it better? How could you make it better? Exactly. And we all have to do that,
Yeah, that's so good. Like my unit meetings, even though we're virtual, I'm like, we're flat. We just say, hey, no, not now. Now we start up with music.
There you go.
So I'm like, and dancing. We can all dance together.
Yeah.
And there's just so many things that you're right. We can look at every situation and ask yourself, how can I bring enthusiasm and fun to this?
Yeah. Perfect. I love it. On the Feel the Power thing, they had this DJ night, and they actually had a DJ, and everybody's at their own house, and you see everybody sitting there, yeah, go, and like for 5 minutes, this one long song. Me and Brad were eating. I'm like, That's almost awkward. But anyway, they were having a great time. Me and Brad should have been dancing. Then we wouldn't think it's awkward. They were having a great time. Anyway, thank you so much, Jana. Okay, let's see. Scoot over here. Loree, I'm going to put you up here.
Hey, hey.
Hey, hey,
I
hey.
just want to say thank you so much for bringing this tonight because I needed it. I've had it just so reminded me of the phrase that you become like the 5 people you hang around the most, be they positive or negative. And so you check yourself and check the people that you're around. And so, 2020 has just changed everybody's world. And for me, 2021 has completely changed our world. And I just so needed this. And I am so glad that we have these calls every single Sunday night, because it really, as you were doing it and I'm just getting excited and, thinking, oh, I'm going to do this tomorrow and this tomorrow and this tomorrow. It made me realize, I'm like, how many people don't have this? And honestly, it makes me feel sorry for everybody else in our units who are not on here. Or maybe, some of them I know are watching it tomorrow, but I'm like, we have something really good here. And I just want to thank you again for always bringing it and always being prepared and always bringing a fresh word that's revelatory and it's, important and focused on what we need right now. And so, we need to all be on the energy bus tonight and just finish February strong. So thank you.
Yes, we do. And you know what, Loree, it's funny about every week because like if you really get on every single week, then you won't get down in the dumps for a whole month. You might be down in the dumps for 6 days, but then you're going to go, all right, I'm going to get back on here. And that's true for all of us. You just got to, it's a fresh start. It's a fresh start. So thank you so much, Loree. And I know you've been through a lot. And so we need the energy bus to be right there with you. For sure. Thank you so much. Okay, Selah, I'm going to put you up here with me. All right.
Hey, everybody. What a great hour. But I know the book will be awesome. And thank you for covering all of that with us. And, some people may be on this call and, I've gotten, there's been times before where people try to speak a word of positivity into your life. And you're like, I don't care what she says because I don't feel good. I don't want to be in a good mood. I don't want to smile. Don't want to laugh. We've all been there before, but I encourage you to go out and do one thing for another person. That is so life-giving. When you give, when you don't know what else to do. When I was single, I had no money and I had 3 kids that were looking at me every single day, and I could not breathe. I honestly could not breathe. And so I would get in my car. I drove a huge metal Braun that was it looked like a tank. And I would get in that car. I would drive to Walmart and I would go to the card aisle. And I said, you know what? There are people in the card aisle. They have to be nice. And if I could just get to someone and talk to another person, it was so life-giving. And I'd leave there. It was like I had taken a big bottle of medicine. I felt great and I could go on about my day. So, there are ways. Sometimes we're in great moods and we want to encourage others, and sometimes we're not. And we have to get ourselves up and out of that. And you can go and encourage just one person and you will feel so much better. So I am going to buy the book. I love it. Thank you so much, Cleta. And yeah, it was awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. You'll like the book. I mean, really, the fact that I could sit down, I started it and finished it in the same afternoon. I couldn't put it down. I had to know what happened at the end of the story. So I won't tell you the end of the story. So in case you buy the book. So thank you so much, Selah. You know what Mary Kay used to say that, or some directors, when I first joined, they said, if you want to find a good place to chatterbook people, is you go to the card aisle. Because like she said, negative, hateful people do not buy cards for other people.
Right.
Only nice people buy cards for other people. So I thought that was awesome. All right. Thank you so much, Selah. What a good word. All right. Let's see. Rosemary, can you Chad, I know you don't have your video on, but I would love to hear from
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me.
This was a fantastic call, and I know I really needed to hear some of these things tonight. So chances are 90% of the people listening needed to hear it too. I agree with everything the other directors said. It kind of gave me a chance to look at what am I doing as a director, as a consultant, as a, as just a person, what am I doing right and what do I need to work on? And something I just want to mention is I have a Facebook group, for my customers. I do let my consultants on it just because I always tell them they can swipe anything and put it on their page. It just gives them an opportunity to do that. And I call mine a touch of whimsy. And it is Mary Kay oriented, but it's also about other things. And I make sure that every day, there's at least one post. I pre-schedule them. I mean, I'm pretty much done with March now. But it's kind of become a community, and it is so cool to see them discussing stuff with each other. I mean, I might not even be in the conversation, but they're saying, oh, I like that too. And that people from, other states are talking to each other on that page. And it's just brought kind of a sense of community. And I don't know if this is the right time or the place, and I think she's still on, but when you were talking about serving other people, Trista had an experience yesterday, and I just wondered if she can do that in a couple minutes, would she be able to share that with you? Because I think it is totally, totally worth everyone listening to.
Yeah, sounds good. Trista, are you still on here, sister? Yes, she is. Trista?
Let's see if she gets on. Hey, Trista, wake up. She might have had to go.
She's muted.
Yeah.
Trista,
she would tell the story so much better than me. But I'm just going to go ahead and just summarize it since she's not on. Okay. She was asked, she was asked by a friend of hers to do some wedding makeup for a lady and her daughter. The daughter was supposed to get married in August, but the mother has stage 4 colon cancer. And so they moved the wedding up, and it was last Saturday, and they wanted somebody to do their makeup. And Trista is one of the most selfless people I know. And I know this was not easy for her. In March, early March, I think it's the 5th, it will be 2 years since her mother's death of cancer. And so you can imagine that going to someplace like this brought back a lot of feelings, a lot of emotions. But she went there and she did makeup for the daughter, and she did it for the mother. And, just she tells the story way better than me, but I love the fact that, she puts other people first. And it was not convenient for her. She had to find a babysitter because her husband was on drill that weekend. So it wasn't something that was easy for her to do. She just did it because she has a servant heart. And I love that story. And I just love her for doing that. And now I'm going to kick her rear because she's not listening to what I'm saying. But anyway, she can hear it on the replay. But yeah, it's just something that, I don't know, it really touched me. And I thought, again, it's better coming from her, but I thought it would touch other people's hearts too.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And, one of the classes on the Field of Power that I did this weekend was on social media. And she taught exactly what you just said about that your group page should be a community. And it should, and then she actually said what you just said. She said that some of her people have reached out and said, hey, I met so-and-so who's on your group, and we started chatting. We have so much in common, and now we're best of friends, and like different things like that. So I think that's really cool. And I'm glad that you mentioned that. I love the name of yours. I guess I'll have to think of a new name for mine. But anyway, she said what you need to do is go on Facebook and say, I'm working on a project. So can you please tell me the 3 adjectives that come to mind when you think of me? And then they said, take some of those of whatever they said and incorporate that into the name of your page.
Mm-hmm. That's a great idea. Well, and I think sometimes as a director, I try to have I'll call it church behavior, you know what I mean? Like, not that I'm trying to act totally different, but I want to be professional and stuff. But on this page, I can let loose a little bit, and I'm not unprofessional, but I can be myself a little bit more, and I can be silly. And because these are the people who really, really know me, a lot of them, and they know that I'm not always serious and,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's
Love it.
why they're on there. So
That's right.
anyway.
That's right. I love it. That's great. Great advice. And that's exactly what I was talking about. So wonderful. Let me see. Sharon, are you still on here? If there's anything you'd like to add? Oh, she must have jumped off. I don't see her. Okay. Well, you guys, thank you so much. Directors, thank you all for those comments. I really appreciate them. Let me encourage any of you that the Feel the Power workshop was really great. And there is actually a Feel the Power 26 because it's the 26th year. You can probably search for it on Facebook and join that group because the first 4 hours was amazing and you did not have to pay for that. So you will really enjoy that. But anyway, you guys have a great week. It's going to be a short week because not a short week, but next Sunday night is the 28th, which is the last day of the month. So, but you know what? Don't let that get you all up in a whatever, because usually February is one of the best months I have for whatever reason. So it's going to be an awesome month and an awesome week. So let's get after it. Look at everything you're doing and see what you could do to spike it up a little bit this month. All right, everybody. So thank you so much. And we will see y'all next week. And by the way, 2 weeks from now, I have a top director guest speaker. So I'm really excited about that for March the 7th.